Anyway, after that unnecessarily long cutscene, we went out and get this ocarina. Sometimes when I jump in like I just did, I land right on top of it and I get it, but whatever. Yeah, she treated it real nicely, just throwing it into the moat like that. I guess she wasn't doing that intentionally, but whatever. And now this happens. Obviously, the ocarina is a magical instrument, but does it make you, like, you hear this, it almost looks like a flashback vision, a flash forward or something? Just by holding the ocarina, it's weird. But nifty all the same, I guess. Yeah, there's also no denying that Zelda is a magic person. That's how the song should go. The ocarina has a weird, like, breathy effect after it. And that bright, uplifting music had nothing on the screen to show for it, so whatever. Well, I guess we might as well protect the Triforce like she told us to. Except the Triforce is not really in the Temple of Time. It's kind of weird. I've never quite understood it myself. But anyway, you guessed it, we have to go to the Temple of Time now. After having finally collected all 3 stones, we can open a doorway. Kind of a doorway. I watched that neat little TAS of this game where the guy used the glitch to basically get through the Deku tree area without doing it at all, and use like a jumping attack, or a side jumping. I just messed that up, that's awesome of me. See, that's why you play it slow, like that. He completely bypassed having to do any of this, and I didn't watch much after it because the task is like an hour long, which is better than 2.5 hours long, but still, who's gonna sit through an hour video? That's generally why I don't like making my videos much more than 20 minutes, because it's like, people don't want to keep watching this, generally. Is that technically the Triforce? I mean, okay, that is the Triforce, but I don't know, I'm just gonna stop thinking about it. There's probably something very obvious about it that I'm missing. Yes, finally, we don't have to use our dull letter opener of a sword anymore. Well, actually, the Master Sword is actually a respectable blade. But come much later in the run-through, we're going to use something else that'll make it harder. Maybe. I think you're supposed to for, like, the Uber Challenge or whatever it's called. Oh my god, I totally didn't see this coming. Geh. Who laughs like that, honestly? Now, how does this work, too? He's looking right at us, quote-unquote, but is he still talking to us even though technically we're trapped in time? I don't even know. Link the Chosen One. Bet you didn't know the Chosen One was his last name. It's kind of a lengthy one. He never bothers to tell it to anybody. That'd be a last name where you could go, yeah, you spell it just like it sounds. With the appropriate spaces and everything. So we hear familiar music, and in an unfamiliar realm. And now the most pointless character in the entire Zelda universe, possibly. Rauru. I don't know. That looks and sounds very Japanese, but I don't know what it would be. I guess it's just Rauru, or like Raur. But that doesn't sound like like Raul or something. It doesn't seem like it would work. And the big reveal. Oh my god, I aged a little bit and all my clothes thankfully grew up and got longer and more garb with me. Very convenient. You're big now! Will not say a Hero of Time if growing big in terms of 7 years would also make every part of his body grow big. I just said it, and that was stupid of me. But whatever. Okay. I know all this. King of Evil. I know he is. The game blatantly labeled him as such the very first time you see him, which is at the very beginning of the game. You talk a lot. I don't know if I've said this before, I wish they had a mode you could put it on, where all the pointless dialogue you could skip. Like, if you know it already. Even if you don't know the story, you can get the general gist of it as you go along. So yeah, medallion. It's a medallion, alright. These medallions, very similar to the jewels, have power that you never use. The jewels are more usable, but those medallions, no, don't necessarily use them as much. But anyway. "7 years. No, they haven't. Yeah, this is the part where it gets... I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, I really wish I could use a boomerang sometimes. And, oh my god. Link's reaction here is pretty funny. He acts that way to every single person he ever meets, practically. Ah, inspirational music. Yes, tell us about the gameplay before you tell us at all who you are. Inside a goddess of sand. Must not read into that line. Ugh. Sheikah. Chic. Master Sword. Yeah, I really have nothing to say over this dialogue. The harp music is kind of nice. If you believe the legend, you have no choice. So if I don't believe the legend, does that mean I do have a choice? Oh, how I wish. It'd be nice to just go off and not worry about Hyrule. Take it easy. Settle down. That would be an interesting side option. Because when you go outside and look at Hyrule, okay, obviously... I just love the sound that Elder Link makes. It sounds more authoritative, and oh my god, the volcano is much more deadly right now. Yeah, obviously the Hyrule kingdom, like the palace market here and everything, I'm just going to completely ignore these redeads, looks much worse, and foreboding, I guess you could say. I'm not going to go in that door. You can't use what is in there anyway. But now look out here. We're in Hyrule Field, and when you get far enough away from the palace area, it acts like nothing's happened at all. No joke, it looks exactly the same as when you first, you know, came in. At the very least I could do is make the field look tarnished in some way. You would think. Anyway. And the only thing that's different about Kakariko, apart from some different people, is that it's cloudier. Must watch these two guys. Looks like we have a fervent debate going on here, while this other guy is just laughing at him, brushing him off completely. We must not talk to these men. At least not yet. It looks totally uninteresting. No, I didn't want to... Oh. Dampe! Treasure. Yeah, we kind of knew this already. So he starts laughing like the dick who was guarding the pathway up to Death Mountain. Who I'm pretty sure is not there anymore. Not gonna go check though. Took his little dipshit kid and they moved away to Termina. I don't know. Or somewhere else. Graveyard. Doesn't have a bone-chilling, different, unique name or anything. Just graveyard. Now, these tombs that have grass in front of them are the ones that you can pull back and they lead to something. And a Poe, which we are going to ignore. Or maybe not. Just get out my space. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yep. Gee, it looks like Dampe. So in 7 years he died of age, and he sounds like a Poe now? I don't get it myself. And he throws... And he throws fire that, if you're not an idiot like me, you can avoid. Ugh. I mean, it's nice that it acts as a place marker for which way to go, because if you get too far behind him, you'd lose him, but at the same time, it's not that hard to follow behind him. If only I had a bunny hood to help me run faster, this would be much easier, but alas. We're just running here. All of this for a treasure that will be, well, to be fair, vitally important. But at the same time, is all this really worth it? I think if you get underneath a certain time, there's a sort of a reward. Don't quote me on that though, because I do not remember necessarily. 1 minute and 10. I don't actually know how fast or how slow he ideally would like you to go. As long as you finish it, that's all that really matters. Yeah, there he goes. He says he'll give you something cool. Oh man, I could have been standing on top of that. Well, he told us what the treasure was, so this is no surprise to us. Yep, the hook shot. It's a small one, unfortunately. That's what I don't like about this game. You only have a shortened length hook shot, and you wait to get the double length hook shot later. It's kind of done that way. Why don't they just give you the full length one? And these blocks, you play the Song of Time to move them. Yeah. Navi floats above them, and if you Z-target and up C, that is what she'll say, basically. Anyway, he said be careful on the way back, but that was basically it. And now we are in the windmill. A heart piece that we cannot get. And a very angry music box player. Look at him. This raises an interesting question. He says that Ocarina Kid 7 years ago played this song, but you don't know it until now. So how did you know it 7 years ago and play it back then? Obviously, if you learn it now and go back in the past, which we will at some point. Sorry, I had to figure out the correct buttons there. Like, obviously, when you go back after learning it now, you can cause this windmill to be fucked up, but how would he have known that? Either way, that's how we learn the Song of Storms. So, next time we will make progress, which, for those of you who don't know, is to the Forest Temple first. So until then, guys, see you later.